Assalamualaikum madam, we are from BA 3.15A. This video presentation is for our grouping assignment in ECO261. We will present to you about tourism development in Malaysia. My name is Nur Aina Zura binti Muhammad Azmi.
My name is Nurlena binti Jasmi.
My name is Nur Karunisa binti Muhammad Zain.
I am Siti Adila binti Mohanuddin. Okay. Contents of this topic is here what you will find in this presentation. The first one is introduction tourism. Next is role and strategies on tourism. Third is policy and development strategies. Okay, the last one is promotion and marketing activities in the globalization era.
The first one is definition of tourism. Tourism is defined as a temporary movement of people from their usual place of residence and works to another destination outside of their place. It is also a sector involving interrelated rules between government, non-government, and the public. World Tourism Organization (WTO) defined the tourism as a covering all trips that take more than 24 hours, whether for recreational purpose, business, study, health, and so on. In other words, tourism is defined as the activities of traveling or visiting the aim of recreation or leisure to another place or exceeding a distance of 50 miles from their place of residence, which is period is not exceed 1 year. There are actually two categories of tourism, which is one is domestic tourism and the second one is international tourism. The first one is domestic tourism. Domestic tourism is happen when a domestic citizen has traveling inland. It does not require official travel document and relatively difficult formalities. Next is international tourism. International tourism is actually have two types. The first one is inbound tourism and the second one is outbound tourism. This international tourism actually needs a valid passport, visa, health document, foreign exchange of course for their business purpose and others in order to travel to a foreign country. Inbound tourism. Inbound tourism means the overseas citizen entering the country. For example, when a tourist from Japan comes visit to Malaysia, it is inbound tourism for Malaysia because a foreign tourist come to Malaysia. Next is outbound tourism. Outbound tourism when tourists are traveling from the country from their origin to another country. When tourists travel a foreign region, that it is outbound tourism for his own country because he or she is going outside their country. For example, when a tourist from China travel to Thailand, and it is outbound tourism for China and inbound tourism for Thailand. So this figure is show the international tourism flow. We will proceed to types of tourism. Actually, there are many types of tourism in the tourism industry, but I will highlight some of them. The first type of tourism is culture and heritage tourism. Culture and heritage tourism includes tourism in urban areas, especially historic or large city in their country facilities, such as museum and theaters. Cultural tourists spend more than ordinary travelers do in order to gather new information and experiences to meet their cultural needs. The second one is education tourism. Education tourism that involve a large amount of learning, that is involve influential learning, where tourists are educated through their travel experience and the activities they choose to do. The idea that travels in the same as self-improvement, but also about relaxation. Next is the medical tourism. Medical tourism is the act of traveling to another destination for a purpose of medical treatment. The advantages of this medical tourism is travelers may include reduced cost for treatment or higher quality of preparations. The most popular destination include India, Turkey, and the United States. Next is the ecotourism. Ecotourism aimed at preserving a fragile environment and ecosystem. The goal is to provide compensation to endanger natural environment. It helps educate the traveler, which is provide fun and compensations, directly benefit the economic development and political empowerment of local communities and foster respect to different culture. Next, we will proceed to event tourism. Event tourism is focused on tourists who come to an area to participate in an event or see an event organized by a place. These people are drawn here to experience something they could not experience in their place. The next one is fashion tourism. Fashion tourism is focused on fashion both domestic and international. It can attract the interest of those who like the field of fashion for them to get inspiration or knowledge related to latest fashion. Fashion tourism is also a branch of shopping tourism. The last of my part is the rules and strategies on tourism. The first rules on tourism is it has great potential in the social, environmental, and economic field. The Malaysian government has played an important role in initiating legislation and drafting industry to discuss the enhancement of tourism initiative in Malaysia development plans. The second one is tourism can earn foreign exchange. This is because tourism is the only industry that earns foreign exchange for the country without spending any natural resources or without exporting material goods. The rates of profits obtained from tourism resources is increasing at the higher rate than export of merchandise in the number of countries. The third one is tourism industry. Tourism industry is the improvement of infrastructure and development facilities. For example, airport, roads, air conditioning, and another public facilities. The development of the new infrastructure also can give benefit to local population. The fourth is promoting international goodwill. Every country has different culture and customs. It is very unique if we really know to it. The best way to get know to other country is to go there. Indirectly, it can strengthen the relationship between the country and another. The last one is the strategies on tourism. The first strategies on tourism is improving public infrastructure. The government plays an important role in equipping the public facilities such as transportation and communication network in the country so that it can ensure the comfort of tourists to travel in the country. The second one is government and other tourism sector also do multiply program and event to promote the tourism in the tourism industry. The third one is the government must strengthen the level of security in the country. This caused the concern among tourists, especially foreign tourists who want to visit Malaysia. To overcome this problem, the authorities must implement security initiatives within the country as a whole. For example, increasing the number of security personnel at the tourist location. So next, I will pass to.
Thank you, Aina Zura. Next, I will explain to you about policy and development strategies, which is government bodies in charge of the development of tourism in Malaysia. The role of government is an important and complex aspect of tourism involving policies and political philosophies. State intervention in the trade is a relatively recent practice for central government. State participation increased as tourism became a mass phenomenon, reaching a peak shortly after the Second World War in 1939. A slow withdrawal began in the boom years of the 1980s with the shift to the market-oriented economy. Is Ministry of Tourism and Culture Malaysia. This is to formulate the national tourism policy to achieve the vision, mission and objective of the ministry, as well as implement policy related to the development and the development of the tourism industry. There are 5, which is Tourism Infrastructure Development Fund. They provide facilities. Tourism Fund. The next one is tax incentive, which is tax exemption for tourist companies operating travel package. The third one is cultural assistance scheme, provide financial assistance and advisory services to BBK arts and culture. The fourth is art guardian scheme. It will provide courses that focus on aspects of maintenance such as lighting design, set and props, and audio design. The last but not least is donation and sponsorship of art. All forms of sponsorship donated will be given priority appreciation as well as special recognition in every formation printed material. Next is AirAsia Flight Company. AirAsia provide low fare to tourists who use air transport services by using the tagline, "Now everyone can fly," to some extent attracting more tourists to visit Malaysia. Airline has also increased its network of connection to Sabah with international and domestic flight with 23 destinations. And the last is Elang Wah Sdn Bhd. It is one of the excellent efforts for the development of the tourism industry with the use of double-decker buses and the introduction of the KL Hope On, Hope Off bus service is seen as timely in conjunction with the Visit Malaysia year. For example, KL Hope On, Hope Off takes you to tourist attraction, and frequency of the bus makes it the choice of most foreign tourists. Fare 1 ticket for a cheap day charge is suitable to be implemented elsewhere in Malaysia to encourage many foreign tourists to travel as well in Malaysia. Next, I will pass to Siti Noordillah.
Next, I will present about policies and state-level tourism growth plan. Via the Malaysia 5-year plan M1, tourism growth policy and strategy are also expected, beginning with MP1, so that it continues to rise and evolve on equal footing with other international destinations. The Malaysia 5-year plan is therefore seen to have significant effect on the national tourism policy as a framework and reference. In the economic transformation program, through the national key economic area, tourism, the added importance of the tourism sector is also responsible for continue to push the country toward a higher income and status in 2020. Okay, next is 5-year plan for Malaysia. A 5-year plan showing every part of Malaysia, which has always stressed tourism as a significant source of national income. Show the seriousness of Malaysia tourism growth. In terms of tourism growth, the following are the highlight of each MP6 to MP10 below. MP6, 1990 until 1995, channel investment into the national and cultivate selected practice capable of producing job and employment, connecting with other economic sector and generating growth in tourism, revenue and added value. Provided the requisite resource and for local and international promotion of Malaysian destination. Okay, next is MP7, which is 1996 until 2000. To diversify goods and facilities to satisfy visitors' needs. Second is promote new products such as athlete, shopping, conferences, and even focus on water. Third is ensure more successful advertising and marketing activities. Fourth is promoting investment and in particular private sector interest in creative tourism venture. Okay, next is MP8, which is 2001 until 2005. Economic, environment, culture and social balance with respect to the preparation and executive of tourism activities. Second is developing strategies for the protection of the human landscape and culture heritage. Third is establish of a holistic approach to tourism growth. For example, hospitality and private sector. Okay, and fourth, okay, next is MP9, which is 2006 until 2010. The first one is ensure that sustainable tourism is established. Promote creative program for tourism. Encourage advertising, event and marketing. Number 3 is the emphasis is on new product growth such as agro-tourism, eco-tourism and educational tourism, meeting and exhibition. Sport and leisure tourism and my second home in Malaysia. Okay, for MP10, the last one is 2011 until 2050. Emphasizing the growth of state tourism focus on the night core area of heritage tourism, eco-tourism, tourism for homestay, sport tourism, coastal and island tourism, tourism for meeting and exhibition, food tourism, ghost tourism, shopping and fitness tourism. The second one is enhance the picture of destination for tourists. The third one is major tourism activity and large-scale program are being introduced in order to enhance standard of convenience, protection and cleanliness. This is tourism arrival and receipt to Malaysia 2010 until 2019. We can see the table here. The total value of tourism receipt in Malaysia in 2019 was approximately 86.1 billion Malaysian ringgit. The marketing of 2014 as the Visit Malaysia year and the advertising and promotional investment have definitely paid off. For 2014, tourist arrival to Malaysia continued to show, recording a 6.7% rise. For January to December, the world received 27.4 million visitors compared to 25.7 million tourists in 2013. The top 10 tourists generating marketing to Malaysia in 2014 were Singapore, Indonesia, China, Thailand, Brunei, India, the Philippines, Australia, Japan, and the United Kingdom.
Thank you, Adila. The next one is I will explain about promotion and marketing activities in the globalization era. The first one is media social. Tourism Malaysia can use media social like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Google, and Twitter, because more and more people like to share their pictures or experience of vacation on media socials. In fact, some of them prefer to focus on tourism news through this social platform. Second activity is sponsor event and giveaways. Choosing the most appropriate event to sponsor depends on the consumer market or lifestyles provided by the business. What can be sponsored of various activity or events, even in community, sports, TV shows, or concerts, visual arts, and performance are the activity that tends to get the most sponsorship. The next one is advertising in trade publications. Advertise in trade publications to get the attention of tourist sellers across the country about your product. The ads include in the ads can show what is being offered in the country and attract their interest. With this, indirectly travel agency in other countries also help the promotion of package to tourism in Malaysia. Then drive exposure with influencer programs. Influencer is people who have good reputation for their knowledge and expertise on a specific topic. They make a regular posts about that topic or their preferred social media channels and generate large followings of enthusiasts, engage people who pay close attention to their views. Influencer has a huge follower and a large audience. So tourism can find the right influencer that have many followers to promote tourism industry. It will be able to reveal to a new audience. The next activity is use digital marketing. Tourism Malaysia used digital marketing in promoting the Visit Malaysia 2020. This digital marketing allows them to reach potential customers without borders, especially with the new COVID-19 normal, which is requires local tourism industry activities to compete actively online. The development of the 4.0 industry revolution showed that access to digital device and internet service by tourists is very wide, and they use it for the purpose of planning a holiday, comparing package and price, and then making travel booking. The next one is campaign. Campaign is an effort to promote Malaysia for both local and foreigners. The campaign can show the privilege and uniqueness of traveling in Malaysia. This campaign can also attract locals or tourists to a place of their choice in Malaysia. For example, promoting the Malaysian holiday campaign to encourage the people of this country to travel within this country. But the next one is publicity activities. Methods for the implementations of publicity can be made using flyers, brochures, electronic or print media, and posters, or a combination of all these methods. For example, tourism Malaysia and ASEA Sdn Bhd entered into a 2-year agreements involving the cooperations of both parties for the purpose of promoting tourism in Malaysia through publicity activity. They aim to create more awareness and publicity about Malaysia as a leisure and business destination through collaborations, thus being able to drive the arrivals of tourists in Malaysia. The next one is sports tourism. Sport tourism is categorized as traveling to participate in sporting events, watching sport events. Malaysia can promote itself as the organizer and host of the various world-class sports tournaments and recreational activities, so that making Malaysia a major destinations for sports tourism in the Asia Pacific regions. Organizing sports such as Commonwealth Games, Formula One, Powerball, Litau di Langkawi, and so on, and are some of the sport events that have keen world recognitions. Next is show of national assets. Malaysia attract tourists by showing the country assets and showcasing Malaysia's wealth. Tourists will attract to travel in Malaysia to see the assets available in Malaysia, such as military assets. For example, the country asset will be shown to the public at the National Independence Day at 31 August, and also the organization of Lima Langkawi International Maritime and Aerospace Exhibition. The organization of exhibitions and air shows is very attractive to tourists until the number of tourists is increased at the time. This Lima have attracts world views. The last activity is fashion show and cultural performance. Fashion show and cultural performance will be had at shopping malls to attract tourists who love shopping and arts. With this method, tourists will attract to come in Malaysia to see the beauty of our arts and our fabric beauty like batik. And then that's all the promotion and marketing activities. So for the conclusions, I will pass to Nuriliana.
So for the conclusion is, tourism industry provide many invaluable benefits to our country. It is hoped that the country's tourism industry will continue to grow and will continue to speak from the lips of the people at the local and the global level. Not only that, it is hoped that the tourism industry in Malaysia can stay as high and sit as low as the other tourism countries. Various strata of society needs to jointly help to improve the country's tourism field, in turn can contribute to the country progress. That's all from our group. Thank you for listening, madam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.